How about them Blue Jays, Peter? Peter, how about them Blue Jays, hey?
Luke. For those of you who don't know, the Toronto Blue Jays, Canada's baseball team, just suffered an absolutely soul-destroying loss in Game 7 of the World Series. I think
In
it's safe to say that is
typical
the worst
Toronto
loss
fashion.
I've ever felt.
Yeah, didn't you write a poem, Peter, to share how you felt
Yeah.
directly after?
You wrote a poem. That's wild.
Oh, yeah. No, he was going through all 5 stages of grief. Or maybe he was stuck
Yeah.
on the first one. I don't know.
Serenade
Hey
us with
guys,
your
I
poem.
literally have to move. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Technical difficulties.
We
Peter, are you
have
going to play yourself on?
an unforeseen circumstance.
Okay, Peter's on mute. But we should introduce our guest to this week's podcast while we wait for Peter, which is Emily. Emily, welcome to the pod.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Welcome,
having
Emily. Emily, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and maybe how we know you?
Well, I'm from the States. I'm from New Mexico. I am a student at Portantorchas, and you guys know me from there. Woo!
Yeah, Emily was with us last semester, our last semester, which was spring of 2025. And you're there again for your second semester, which is super hype. And so maybe tell us briefly about your first experience at Port when you got there in the spring.
It was really good. I think it was very much a time of like growth, but not just growth, like yes, spiritual growth of course, but also just growth in who I am as a person and like who God made me to be. I think before I struggled with a lot of, I guess you could maybe say insecurities, but I really didn't know who I was, and I thought I did. And so it was really cool to be able to come and like learn more about like who God is, and then also who God made me to be, and then also like really showing me the gifts that I have and like how he can use them for his glory. Because I think I had very much had a very like a self-deprecating kind of way of thinking. Like I constantly kind of, I don't know, kind of put myself less than, thinking I was being humble, but I was really just not, like, I don't know, not. And so I think my first semester was a lot of just like realizing that, and then like looking to God for, I don't know, filling that space that I realized I had, I don't know, I was missing.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's super cool to hear about, and we'll look maybe more into that later on in the episode. We actually have questions from our audience to ask you.
Okay.
And I think Luke, if you want to maybe read the first one, we have some questions from some fellow students from Portantorchas.
All right, I'd love to kick it off. Our first question comes from Kaylee. She asked, has the Port washing machine been graced with the presence of your phone in your second semester?
So wait.
I'm gonna be honest.
Was it?
Dead.
Wait. Was your phone in the washing machine at some point before?
Before Port, or
No, like
Like
in
last
your
like
first
semester?
semester?
yeah, like I washed my phone during Spanish
What?
class.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so like we were like, oh my gosh, so we were in Spanish class. Peter was there. I don't know if he remembers this, but I I it was with Sandra, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't have my phone. I'll find it. And I go to change my laundry, and I pick up one of my pants, and it's inside my pants. I had washed it with
Yes,
phone,
I,
and I turned
that
it
was
on,
so funny.
which was like the first mistake probably. But you know that sound you can make where it's like, it did that in soapy water, like was burning out. It was so bad. And then I had not only I had washed both my phone and my AirTag, but I dried my AirTag as well.
Oh no.
And so my phone, the phone that I'm calling on now is the same phone. So
Hey.
here
Still
it is.
kicking. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
And
Nice.
so, I guess to answer the question, has it been back in the washing machine?
Yep.
What? Wait, it has?
But over the break.
Oh, okay. So not
So
No.
not a port.
So
Okay.
my phone
I
has
think
gone
most
through the
people though haven't put their phone in the washing machine once. So to put it in twice is like it takes skill.
Yeah. I actually also washed my Bible and my notebooks.
You washed your Bible?
Was it? Please tell me it was at least one of those pocket Bibles.
No, it was my full Bible.
Okay. Just to clarify, how does that, like, how does a full-size Bible, like, end up? How do you not know?
Okay, so I was coming back from church and I had my Bible bag. And, like, I was in a rush, so I threw it on in my room in the most padded place possible, my laundry basket. And I forget that I put it there, and so I go and I throw my laundry in the washer, forgetting that my Bible and my prayer journal and all my markers are in there. And I opened up the washer and just pieces of my Bible come falling like snow
That's crazy.
of my yes, it was horrible. And like my Bible was just gone. I couldn't find it. It was just papers in my it was so
We need to add this to the port rules that you're not allowed to wash your Bible, and if you do, it's like one of those ones you have to do community service for like 3 days.
Yes. Emily's
That's
getting a
wild.
punishment for that.
yeah.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this wasn't at port. This was back at home. But still.
Right. So whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a Bible school.
Yeah.
Peter, do you want to ask her the next question from the
Yeah,
audience?
Peter.
Yes.
Question 2.
So the second question, EJ asks, "What is your favorite toe?" I'm not really sure what the thinking of was behind that question. Like I don't really know where that came from, but what's your favorite toe?
The reason why he asked me this is because I asked a lot of the people coming at the beginning of the semester because I was like, ooh, lighthearted question. Let's talk about toes. So
What?
I don't know, but that's pretty deep. I would.
Yeah, no,
that's personal.
I found out it is pretty, and why do people like? Anyways, my favorite toe is my pointer toe on my right foot, I have a reason because it's my longest toe, but it doesn't look the longest because it kind of is curled. So
What?
it's in disguise, you know.
I've heard that if you lose your pinky toe, though, you can't balance at all.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
But my plan is to not lose my pinky toe, so
well,
that's probably a good plan.
I would say my pinky toe is of vital importance. It's my favorite one.
Wow, that's wild. And then our last audience question is from Beth, and she wants to know, what weird microwave concoctions have you been making in the second semester?
Oh, I made a Jello cake, and I heated. So I bought Jello, and I made layers of Jello, and I heated it up in the microwave. But my first attempt, I don't know what was going on inside my head, but I bought coconut, thinking, oh yeah, coconut, fun. But then it was like, you need milk, so I was like, okay, and I was too lazy to go ask the staff members if I can. Anyways, so I was microwaving milk, and then it boiled over, and then I ended up just asking Elizabeth to use her house. Anyways, so I tried to make a Jello cake. It didn't work. The milk kind of went all over the microwave. So, yeah.
Well, hey, there we go.
Is that a common thing? Jello cakes, like microwaving Jello?
Nope.
Okay. Yep. Perfect.
That was purely me trying to not ask as my pure laziness.
Cool. Well, you know.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, I guess one of our first questions for you is coming from I know me and you have talked about how you worked at camps before. I believe you worked at camp before you went to your first semester, and then over the break of your second semester. Can you tell us a little bit about what that's been like in your working there? I think from what I know, your family lives there as well, and that's been a pretty big part of your life.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, it is a pretty big part of my life, and I think who I am. Um, I don't know how much you guys know about New Mexico, but it's a very anti-Christian place. Like the school I went to, horrible in the sense of being accepting of Christianity, and so, but I was very fortunate to not be a part of that because I lived in a Christian camp, like 30 minutes outside of the main town. And so I was spared from a lot of that. I don't know, a lot of just that evil. And so I think growing up in a small, like Christian camp was so beneficial to my growth. And being able to run wild in the woods with my friends. And I was homeschooled for most of my like elementary years, and so being able to just spend time with my family in this amazing place was wonderful. And then I started to work there, and it was incredible to be able to work with people because at camp you don't get paid a lot, and so people who work at camp aren't working there for the money. They're
Yeah,
working there because they want to serve the Lord. And
for sure.
so it was so beautiful to be able to work with people who that was their goal in life, to serve the Lord. They didn't care about the money, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right. So next question I have for you, Emily, is what was your first impression of Port and Costa Rica as a whole?
Okay. Well, my first impression, Tom picked, it was Eli, Hannah, Matis, and I, and there was some major like accident on the highway, so he took us around the back roads, and I had gotten so carsick because it was like dark and the lights were like flashing, and I was trying to look out the window and talking to Tom. I was like talking the whole time. I think I was nervous, and I was like getting so carsick, and I was like, this is because I never get carsick back in the States. And so I was like, what is going on? I don't understand. And I thought it was just like nerves. It might have been a little bit of both, but so just the roads was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. But yeah. And then I think also like no one has lawns, no one has a yard, and
Yeah.
that's definitely like, yeah, just the first, woo, you
That
know.
was what tripped me out at first. I literally like I was with Isaac in it's like when I first arrived for first semester, I was with Isaac being driven back by John, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like 10 o'clock at night, and we passed every house. It's like just everyone live in like a prison cell.
Yes.
It's like what's with all the like every house is gated.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's like you're just walking, like when you walk to Mega Super, and you're just like walking along, and you can see someone like looking out, or the dog jumping
Yeah, there's
up.
like a dog that
Yeah.
like comes and
Yeah.
starts like barking like crazy at you.
Yeah. Ugh.
Normal experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I guess another question I have is when it comes to, thinking about like the structure, when we're at Portantorchas and the daily life, like, do you feel like you had I know for me, most people know I worked at summer camps before
Mm-hmm.
and after going to Portantorchas, and I'd say in some regard it was a pretty familiar experience for me. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I got used to living with other groups of
Mm-hmm.
guys and kind of being having the same goals and working towards the same things. Would you say you found it similar or still pretty foreign getting used to the structure, or was it something that you kind of had experience with?
Um, I think the living with other people, because I lived at the campus, I never had to live with people. I just lived at home and then like walked to work. So I never really lived with other people, but I had done a lot of like working with people who like were kind of believe the same thing. And so that was not a huge like it was still wonderful, but it wasn't new, you know? But what was new was being able to, like, having my schedule just like planned out, like to like every moment of my day had a plan, which I was not used to, and that was a little bit that was new. And then also like being able to walk to the store. I haven't been able to walk to the store my entire life, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
But,
I definitely feel that
I feel that too.
living
Yeah.
in northern Ontario.
Yeah.
No, I feel like what you said about having the day just like planned out for you though was pretty odd for me as well, because I'm so used to like having specific things that I do in a day that I'm really used to doing at certain times, and then you'd have like a full week where it's like especially if you're going on a trip, then it's like everything's scheduled and you don't really have time to like do things that maybe you're used to doing in like in a day. So especially at the beginning, that was so weird to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that. But speaking of planning things out, since we have a script now, we know we're doing segments thanks to our producer Daniel. So we have a new segment. We've done it once before, I guess. It's everyone's favorite Spanish word of the day because we all love to learn Spanish. And I haven't spoken Spanish in about 5 months, so I'm going to butcher this. But I think it's very applicable, and I think you'll use it a lot in your daily lives, maybe in Costa Rica. So the words are El Gordo del Pie, which means big toe of the foot. Perfect. So maybe you could throw that into a
Perfect
sentence.
fit for the
That's the
episode.
Spanish sentence of the day. I don't know about word.
Okay, well,
The
phrase of
phrase.
the day,
Spanish
I guess
pickup
we could
line of the
say.
day. That's what it is.
But
Yeah.
you could maybe throw that into when you stub your toe. You can be like, ow, I stubbed El Gordo del Pie. But maybe say that all in Spanish. I just don't have enough Spanish vocabulary to do that. Nice.
Yeah.
Too good. Yeah. Would you say there's been like of the structure, like of your time at Port, like this has been something I've been actually really curious asking people is what aspects of that structure impacted you the most, or is impacting you the most? Like, I know for me, Hour of Prayer had a really big impact on building my relationship with Christ, and then there's other, whether it's Bible study methods or even class, or even just the community. What do you think has been really, really big for you?
I think both Caminatas and Hour of Prayer. I think Hour of Prayer because it's something that I've like come to crave, if that makes sense. Like Tuesday comes around and I'm like, oh, finally, I get a little time with the Lord. Because I'm really bad at taking that time on my own. And so which is something I need to work on, because when I get home, I'm not going to have that like required of me. But it's like when it comes, I'm like, oh, finally, like rest time with the Lord. And so that has been the most, like, learning to rest in his presence has been so impactful for me, because I really struggle with resting and like actually pausing and just making time for God. And so being forced to do that at the beginning has now made it a desire, so I'm no longer forcing myself, but I am desiring it. And then caminatas, I think I'm not naturally an intentional person. And so I think caminatas has been a really wonderful place to see how God has been working in my life, and like really showing me what it means to be intentional in friendships, and what it means to bring Christ into every conversation, and really having the opportunity to practice that has been incredible. And I've been able to do that not only here, but I've been able to bring that back home, and like learning to be an intentional person in conversation, and like seeking out I don't know, relationship with the person I'm talking with.
Yeah. Oh, that's really big. Thank you for sharing that, Emily.
Yeah.
All right. Next question I have for you, Emily, is something we like to ask people that come on the podcast, especially those who are at Port right now, is what staff member had the biggest impact on you, or does have the biggest impact on you? I mean, maybe it's changed between semesters, because I know you guys have a few new staff members there now, but what would you say overall, which staff member have you kind of grown the closest to?
And actually, maybe just before that, can you tell us just really briefly about who Is it a new couple that's there? Can you maybe just tell
Yeah.
us briefly about them?
Yeah, they're wonderful. Their names are Tiffany and Mikias, and they came between, or Mikias was here for 2000 or fall 2019, spring 2020, and then Tiffany came spring 2020, and they had to leave week 7 of their 2020 semester because of COVID, and so they met here and they dated like long distance for like 4 years, and then they got married, lived
Wow.
in Canada, and then moved here to volunteer. So they're living in the Esquina now, and they're wonderful. They're so great. Mikias is from Argentina and Germany. Like I think I don't actually totally know the situation, but I think his dad's German and his mom's Argentinian, I think. And then Tiffany is from Ontario, Canada.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really a really interesting dynamic.
No, that's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll if they're ever back in Ontario, I'll have to reach out to them or something.
Yeah.
Hear
Yeah.
their story. But yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I guess we can just go back to Peter's question of who you think was the most impactful.
Yes. I think generally each staff member has affected me in ways that like they don't like just so incredibly, just being such wonderful examples. But if I had to choose one, probably Elizabeth, because first of all, she was my small group leader my first semester. And so having that like relationship formed my first semester and then being able to carry that into the second has been so cool. And I think she's someone that I really need in my life, someone who's such a truth seeker and speaker as well. She's forward with what she thinks, and if she thinks that you're maybe not doing something, or maybe it's your fault, or like she's not afraid to tell you what she thinks. Yeah. And I think I that. And then I think also Graciela, she's my small group leader this semester, and I think more than the time that I spent with her, it's more her role in her life and in her ministry, both in her family's ministry, but also in this ministry, and what an example she is for all of us. And I think she has so much like grace and beauty in how she does things. And she just loves us so well. And I think like that's been such a wonderful example to see what it means to love people that you don't even know that well and people you do know well. So yeah.
Wow, that's so cool to hear.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Emily, I remember when we went on a caminata, I think it was like kind of middle of the semester, we talked about that scholarship that you'd applied for, and you'd like gotten like really far down the path, like whittling down people, and you thought you kind of had this scholarship in the bag, and I think did you end up not getting that scholarship?
No.
Right. Yeah. So I'm just curious about like kind of what you learned about through that situation, where it's kind of like that gut wrenching situation. And
it like in the moment I knew that was like, God, I know this is your plan, but why? Like it was very much like, yep, I trust that this is good. Like kind of crying in the background, and so but it has been so incredible to see how good that was for me, because I think if I had gotten that, I wouldn't have come back for a second semester, because that scholarship doesn't go for another year. So I would have had to take it and go to school in the fall. And so, and it's so clear that this is where God wants me. And so like I had put almost my identity in that scholarship. Like I was so sure I was going to get it. And if I didn't, then I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't all these things. And then I didn't get it. And I was like, why? Because I had so many people like recommend me, tell me I would get it, like all these different things. I got up to like the last 20 applicants. And I was like so sure, like it was a plan. And then like God kind of said no. And I was like, okay, learning. And I think from that moment, I learned how to trust him in the moment, even when I didn't, like even when I was hurting, and then also to continue trusting until I see the purpose in it, if that makes sense. Like learning to trust in the moment and then see how that marinates, you know, and getting to see the whole picture in the end.
Yeah,
So,
that's really cool to hear, because I feel like so many people have like a similar situation where God like shuts the door on something
yeah.
that they were really sure was going to happen, and it can be pretty hard. So I definitely appreciate hearing that story from you. And yeah, I don't know, it's something that I think can be really edifying for people, because yeah, it sucks when your plans don't go the way you think they will. So
Yep. Does.
certainly does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many times when like we have like these plans in our mind of like what we want things to look like, and then God's
Yeah.
plan is just like completely different. I
Yeah.
remember for me, short story here, I know you've all heard this before, but like coming to Port, I was like, I'm not even excited to be here, let
Yeah.
alone was I ever thinking about coming back for another semester. And then like God just completely changed that,
Yeah.
which was really
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Even
And
how
also,
you were able to come back was like wild, because there
yeah,
wasn't really any spots, right? And so
Yeah.
God kind of
yeah.
provided in a way for that.
And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of second semesters, what was it kind of like for you in between semesters going back? Because you had like 4 months at home over the summer. So what was that kind of like for you,
Yeah.
going
Uh,
back home, spending 4 months, summer at home, and then coming back to Port?
Yeah,
yeah.
because I guess for us, all three of us we just had about a month in between, and so
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some differences between just having Christmas and then having an entire summer.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely interesting. I think I may have had a different experience a little bit from my like co-second semesters, because when I got home, I started my job like 4 days later, and I moved everything out. I moved into a new space. I had roommates, all these different things. And so it was like living the Port experience, but I had to work, and a lot of my roommates weren't Christian.
Mm.
And so I felt like I didn't really have time to like actually mourn the loss. And so it felt like, I don't know, I wasn't pondering leaving Port, if that makes sense. And so it wasn't like a super painful experience, but my break was really horrible, actually. And not because of any, well, kind of, I think I was listening to Kate's like segment, and I think it's very similar. Like my experience like that was very similar. I thought I had made habits. I was like, yep, I'm good. And then I come back and it's just gone, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah,
what the heck? What the heck, God? I thought my heart had changed. I thought I was like walking away from my sin. But like, I just kept falling into those like fleshly patterns. I guess that's kind of a weird word, fleshly, but into those patterns.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I was also really frustrated because I was serving in this ministry, and I was like a leader in it, like leading Bible studies, prayer mornings. I was going on one-on-ones. I was like leading Bible studies for people who've never heard the gospel, like crazy
Mm.
things that are like should be fulfilling. And I was like, why am I not feeling fulfilled? In fact, I feel like drained and just, like what is going on? I don't understand. And so coming back, I had this fear of like, how can I be working in a ministry, a God-centered ministry, and not feel fulfilled, And that was such a frustrating thing, because I was like, well, if I'm serving the Lord, I must feel fulfilled. And so that was like a constant struggle throughout the summer. And like by the end, I was like, I don't even want to go back, because I was so frustrated with myself that I'm like, I don't want to go back and then just fall back into these patterns, Like, I don't want to spend all this time thinking everything's great and then go home and feel like everything's changed, or that nothing's changed. And so I think the beginning was kind of numb, if that makes sense. I didn't have many feelings about leaving Port. I was just working. And then by the end, I was like really like worried about coming back. I really didn't want to. I was just like, I don't know. I just want to stay home. I just want to like wallow in self-pity, So yeah, it wasn't great, but I think there were so many doors that God opened for me to be able to come. Like there was there was a bunch of things that I messed up in my math about making money to come back, and I was basically $2,000 short. And by some miracle, I don't know what happened, but like a few donations, a mistake on my paycheck, a few gifts from other people, I paid the tuition 12 hours before I left. And so, like, just
Wow.
all different things that was like God telling me, Emily, you're going. I know you don't want to, but like I'm opening the door wide and like kind of pushing you through, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Incredible. Jeez.
That's really cool to hear. And I think I probably speak for all of us when I say that I think the second semester experience becomes so much more valuable simply because you went home and came back.
Yeah.
Like even if it was just one continuous 8-month chunk of time, I think it would actually be less valuable than going back to the place where you struggled and going back to the place where you maybe you face you face harder times and then returning, because then you have a different outlook. And I think I
Yes.
definitely felt that way, and I can see that you felt the same. And so you kind of go into your second semester looking for ways to change permanent things and not just have a good time and then go back to the things that you now realize didn't change just because you left.
Yes, exactly. And it's like the break is like a tester for when you get home. And then you're like, okay, so that failed or that went well. So how can I move forward and use this time to really solidify things that I realized I hadn't solidified in my break? And so it's like, I think, and I wonder, I bet they do it on purpose, like that they have like such a decent, even a month is kind of a long break in between. And I'm sure they do that on purpose so that students actually get that time, it's like part of the program.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like to use a sports analogy here, it's kind of like halftime at a
Yeah.
like when you're
Yeah.
playing a sports game. It's like you've had your first half, and now you're kind of like reevaluating things, looking at like what's working when I went home, what's not working, what do I kind of need to
Yeah.
work on going into the second semester.
Yeah.
I think that time's really valuable.
Emily, I think you're just kind of curious about how the second semester is going and how you're finding it being a second semester. There's a lot less of you than there was of us, so I'm curious if it's a
Yeah.
little challenging, maybe.
Yeah. This semester is going really well. I think I see so much strength in it. Like I think something about this semester is that there's a lot of individual strength, which is beautiful to see. Like I can see individually people growing so much in their faith. And I think looking at it, like, I guess coming from a second semester experience, or like, I don't know, I found it really difficult at the beginning to have any influence, because I would hear things and I'd be like, oh, I really want to say something, but I don't want to be like rah, 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 like the rule maker, and like I am not naturally a confronter, and so it's just like, maybe don't turn on your phone in the no tech zone, if you're so willing. um, and so that was difficult. And I think also just because there's only 6 of us and there's 2 guys, like just the lack of influence we have, and we were told that we were going to have a lack of influence, and so there's not as much pressure on us. Like still there is, but it's like, okay, like we kind of know that it's not going to be, it's good. We can't expect much of ourselves, if
Yeah,
or
for
we
sure.
expect much.
Yeah.
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 No, that makes a lot of
And
sense.
you guys have your your mission trip coming up in how long now?
2. Yeah.
2 weeks. Wow. And so how's the planning been going for that? Like what ministry are you a part of, and how's the overall planning coming? You close to fundraising goals yet and stuff? And yeah, how are things shaping
Yeah.
up for the mission trip?
Planning's good. I'm in the Escuela ministry. That has been a little bit funky because we're trying to figure out how to plan for 90 kids. Everything's just really big. And so that's a little bit stressful. Just trying to plan a craft for 90 kids, trying to have enough counselors for 90 kids, trying to have enough Spanish speakers for. So that's been a little bit hard. What was the other thing? Fundraising. Yeah. Fundraising, it was kind of crazy because like the first 3 weeks we only had like 20%. And then within a week and a half we had gotten 75%, which was insane. It was like over like 10 days, we got 75% of what we needed. And so
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's incredible. And we still have like 25%, which we have this Wednesday, we have a meeting. So hopefully by then we'll have it. Because I think we need to put down the payment for like where we're staying all last week. And we had enough money for that. So we have a place to stay. Woo!
Yay.
But yeah, so it's been really good.
And are you guys doing the community soccer ministry again for Costa?
Yeah, I think it's called Comedor. Yeah,
Or
we are.
yeah, Comunidad,
Yeah.
I think is what we called it.
Oh yeah. Oh no, yes, that's what it is. Comedor.
I was gonna say, isn't that food?
Yeah, that's Comedor Infantil. That's like the what do you call it? Like the Sunday school
The
kids
children's
thing.
lunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that. Yeah, guys, I know Spanish.
How many Spanish speakers are there in this semester?
Well, there were 7 students in Roberta's class. Me, Gwen, Andrew, so 7. Yeah. But I would say like there are 5 confident Spanish speakers. Maybe 4.
Oh, of the whole group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How was it like, was there a class closely below you guys? Because I know with our second semester there was a big gap between the Spanish speakers and the somewhat Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
Whereas our first semester there was actually some people in the middle range who were like, they could actually speak, they just weren't fluent.
Yeah. No, it was just beginner classes and then Roberto's class. And maybe one like slightly above beginner. And so it was actually I love Roberto. He was so patient with me because I went up to him and I was like, Roberto, I don't know if I can do your class. I know I can speak some Spanish, but I'm at no way, shape, or form like fluent. I barely know what you're saying. And he was like, Emily, like it's okay. Just participate in class, try and get the most out of it. Like we said you should be here for a reason. And like just trust that we know. And I was like, okay. And that was very sweet. But yeah, so I would say there's like of the 7, there's probably 3 of us that are more like advanced Spanish rather than fluent, if that makes sense. So okay.
Yeah, kind of tough with like dividing those Spanish speakers up when you have so few for like the ministries. I remember that last year, and probably the same for you guys.
No, that's tough. What would you say has been like your favorite memory so far from either semester, or your funniest memory so far?
The first one that comes to mind was in like the first 2 weeks of my first semester. Kaylee, my roommate, and she's my bunkmate as well. So bad. After orientation and Tom was talking about earthquakes, we were like, oh my gosh, it'd be so fun to experience an earthquake. Like, so much fun. And so we're sitting in bed late at night and she's doing something like she was on the top bunk, I was on the bottom, I was reading. And all of a sudden I'm like, Kaylee, do you feel that? And she was like, what? And it stops. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know what it was. Maybe it'll come back in a second. And then it comes back again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's an earthquake. And I get off of my bunk onto the floor and it stops. And then Kaylee looks over the bunk bed and the bunk bed shakes. And it was Kaylee in the bunk bed.
That's so good.
Like, oh my gosh, it's an earthquake. But it was just the bunk bed shaking.
I thought you were gonna say it was like one of the other girls shaking your bed, but that's funnier. I do remember that they would shake depending on which bed you got.
Yeah.
Some of them were looser than others.
Yes.
I know when you're
Yes.
moving around
And
in the top bunk, like the whole bed feels like
Yeah, it's like
the
boom,
building's
boom, boom, boom.
shaking.
I just remember there's one bunk specifically. I think it's on the second floor because Isaac and one of the Sams was in it. And whenever Sam would get out of bed, it would just like shake so violently.
That was my bunk bed, and it hits the wall, and it's like
Yeah.
thunk, thunk, and you're like Kaylee wakes up earlier than I do, and so it's like 6:45, and it's just donk donk donk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
But
that's my
But that's the
alarm.
one.
Sam's was like a time trial every morning to get his alarm off as quick as possible.
Yeah, because if I
Terrible.
remember correctly, this was Sam Hedrick. He had his phone. We've probably already talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't even know. But he
We
had
I
his
think
have,
we
phone.
have.
guys. We can't talk about it
He had his
again.
phone on the other side of the room, and then he'd like rush to go get it, and it would like wake up the whole room simply because the bed would be hitting the wall every time he got up.
Yeah.
Too
That's so
funny.
Yeah. And then second semester, trying to think. There was a time, I don't know if this was the funniest time, but this is the first thing that comes to mind, is we went thrifting, and I was the only, a few people had gone back, so I was the only second semester left, and this was the first time that we were like going back, and so like we're in the we're in the bus, but it's raining and cold, so the entire bus is just steamed up, and I can't see out the window, and I'm literally, my face is pressed against the window, and I'm like watching the things go by, and then my friend, one of the students was sitting next to me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I need to pay attention." I was like, "Okay, get ready," and like I'm like trying to frantically like wipe off the thing, and I'm like watching for the mountain to come by, and I'm like panicking, sweating. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm like so stressed. I'm like, my face plastered to the window, like my nose must have been like smudged up, like a little bit. And I'm just trying so hard because there's like 10 of us there, and I feel like it's all on me, and I'm just like, ah! I'm like, okay, pull the thing, and everyone was like scared because I was like yelling it. I didn't need to yell it, but anyways,
The
we got
buses
home.
do that. Public transport in Costa Rica, it's a stressful experience.
Oh, this was the
You're
public
telling
bus.
me.
Oh, this makes so much more sense. I was like, what situation are you in? Yeah, no, those are wild sometimes.
Oh my gosh, so
Did you guys
stressful. It's not even that funny, but ugh.
did you guys do the skit where you have to like show the first semesters what it's like?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's always the funnest
yeah,
skit. I was the bus driver. I was so
Yes,
hyped to be the bus driver.
you were
I was
such
like,
a good
yeah,
bus
this is my
driver.
calling. I was like, yes. I was like shifting with the broomstick.
yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
peak
Oh,
that was
I have a
good.
core memory right there.
I have a question about service day. Have you had any
yes,
wild experiences? Or the lake is full now, isn't it?
yes,
You guys
yes. It's
aren't
wonderful.
Oh,
in the muddy lake. Lucky
Yeah,
bug.
it's so great. It's wonderful. It's every joke is now in the lake. In the lake.
Oh, I'm
Leave your
sure.
mugs out. In the lake.
Nice.
Yeah. Trying to think. Service day. Anything wild? Nothing this semester. But I remember when we were cleaning the lake last semester, and the fish were in there, like the big fish. And I don't know if any of you guys were there at the time, but um, like Cade was trying to get the fish, and then he like slipped or something, and the fish dropped, and then Beth grabs the fish, and she's like hugging it, like full bear hug, and running across the field with this fish, and it's just like flopping in her hands, and we're all like, "Woo, Beth, go!" And she's just running with this fish that's like half her size, and like everyone just stops what they're doing. It's like, go Beth.
Yeah, and then didn't the fish die once they were in
Yeah,
the
like
lake?
half the fish died.
Oh,
And that was
so
that
bad.
was the whole
no.
thing though, is because like
Ugh.
Roberto was like trying to figure out who killed the fish.
Yeah.
But it's just 'cause, I think it just got moved, like that experience.
And because
It's
Cade was
traumatizing.
like slapping people with it.
Yes, just throwing it at them. It's like, what?
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
sweet. Just a few more questions. Maybe just a couple. Great question from Cade here. He asked, and this might be confusing. How has your image of yourself changed as you have realized how God sees you?
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I might need a second to think about that.
For sure.
If you want, you can take a second, and I can do our next and final segment, which actually might replace the Spanish word of the day as the favorite, because it's the hot take.
Okay.
This one comes from Eli, who is the king of hot takes, obviously, being from Alberta.
Yes.
And his hot take is that you should be able to walk at night later than 6 p.m. if you can take Roberto in a boxing match and win, which would, put that to rest. But how do we feel about this, guys?
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know. I think I'm trying to think about how many people could actually succeed. Like,
I feel like Cade definitely. Sam Hedrick could probably
Well,
take him
but
in
what
it.
what is this conveying here? Like, if you can take Roberto in a boxing match, then it's like, not to hurt Roberto soon, but it's like the average Tico who meets you on the street.
That's true.
Could you fight them? But I think if the average Tico probably has a knife if they're trying to steal something from you.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe you're gonna be like, or there's probably like 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't
feel
know.
like, yeah, and like if you're in an Uber and like the Uber just goes crazy, or like, well, no, if you're in an Uber, then you wouldn't be walking around late at night. That argument doesn't make sense. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the rule is very like to me it makes sense, but
Yeah, I agree. I do want to hear
yeah,
Roberto's thoughts, though. I want some feedback on that. Hearing this from Eli, what does Roberto think of this?
Yeah.
Maybe he'll challenge him to a boxing match.
Yeah. If you can, yeah. It's wild.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the question now, or did I just distract you from thinking?
No, I think I got it. I think something that I really like, I guess I didn't really realize how cherished I am by God, if that makes sense. Like, I think it talks about I think it's 2 Samuel chapter 22 verse 16 or something, but it talks about how the Lord delights in us. And I think that's something that I didn't really understand, is that like my relationship with the Lord isn't just me delighting in him. He desires to be with me. And I think seeing that, or knowing that, and then like that the Lord delights in me, and that because he delights in me, I'm worth being delighted in, if that makes sense. Like, if Jesus thinks I'm worth being delighted in, then I am, and that is like, but also being humble in that, like not just being, oh, God loves me, great, but like that God loves even me, someone who has sinned and who has constantly strayed away from God, but that he still loves me and cherishes me. I think that has been that, like, my view on myself has changed because God sees me and delights in me. And so, but also recognizing that in humility and being like, in spite of all of my failures, he still loves me. And that has been the biggest thing.
Wow.
Gwen's gonna come say hi.
Okay, sweet. And thank you for sharing. That's so cool to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah,
I'm
back. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Gwen,
Gwen,
you're on the Tico Time
what's
podcast.
up?
Oh, what an honor.
Now that we know this, you're gonna have to be an official person on it. Like, next episode, interview you.
Oh, next episode. I don't have much to say. I'm not much of a talker.
Any hot takes?
Any hot takes?
The Tico Bowl is disgusting.
No.
No,
That is
like
honestly the
cilantro.
craziest hot take
That's
ever.
What?
It's not the Tico
You don't
Bowl.
like cilantro?
I love cilantro.
No, Naomi doesn't. Therefore, she can't eat any Costa Rican food. Isn't cilantro in everything?
Yeah, cilantro is good.
It's disgusting.
They put cilantro in everything there.
It tastes like soap.
What?
Does it taste like soap?
No, it tastes like
soap.
I don't know what. doo-doo.
What? That's so funny to me. I've never really
Right.
thought about cilantro before I went to Port, and everyone was like, "Oh, I don't like
Yeah.
cilantro." I'm like, I've
Yeah.
never even thought about cilantro before. It's just in there.
I'm
Yeah.
in your boat.
No,
I mean-
that's neat. Yeah.
But,
Emily, do you have any prayer requests or final comments to say before we wrap up?
I think something that I really they're both looking at me. I think something that I really need prayer for is I think I've just been really tired recently, and I've had a lack of motivation to be intentional, and so just prayer for relying on the Lord for my strength and not my own strength, because I think that's what I've been doing and it has been failing. So just remembering that the Lord is my strength and that's all I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, we'll be praying for those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No blame
Sweet. Well,
Yeah.
anything you guys want to say to the Tico Time audience before we pack out?
We miss you a lot.
Yeah.
Miss and love you all.
Yes.
Go
Man,
Jays.
we miss everyone too.
Yeah.
It's like sad like seeing everyone like there in like the library. Like
Yeah.
it's so weird to think that's like, man, I used to live there.
Everything looks so different too.
Everything is canary yellow on
The
the
tech
outside now.
room. Emily showed us the new tech room. It's crazy. See,
There's like
it
couches.
looks crazy in there now.
Yeah, it's so nice. And then the library is not a library. It's just like
Oh.
it's just like a study area.
Yeah.
Like an office.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well,
But-
anyways, Emily, we won't keep you too longer. But thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We'll all keep in touch, but we really hope
Yeah.
the rest of your semester goes well.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure, all of you guys are doing great, and so
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thank you guys. This was so wonderful.
Thanks,
Sweet.
Emily.
Well, bye, Emily. See you guys later.
Bye guys. See you later. I don't know how to leave.